Have you ever been called crazy? Do you see things? Do you hear things? Do you find yourself mentioning things to others to confirm if you're not alone in having some thoughts or sensations or feelings or just plain out knowings that tend to kind of defy what is traditional or what is commonly known and accepted in society? Well, let's look into what it means to be a mystic, which means maybe you're interested in looking deeper into some of the mysteries of life. I'm Roach Mark Roach. I've taken 10 years out from the mainstream to express myself and deal with trauma and work on my acting and writing and some skills that actually have been working on in the background of my life since I was from my early childhood. So I've done some research and I wanted to share. The idea of a mystic is a term generally used to describe an individual who seeks direct personal experience with the divine, the ultimate reality, or a profound spiritual truth that transcends ordinary human understanding or conventional religious practices. And here's some key aspects that define a mystic. Number one, they have direct experience. Mystics often bypass traditional religious doctrines or religions to express a direct communion with the divine or a higher state of consciousness. This experience is often described as ineffable, meaning it's beyond words or normal comprehension. Number two, spiritual practices. Mystics might engage in various practices to achieve this state, such as meditation, contemplation, prayer, fasting, or even asceticism. These practices are designed to quiet the mind, purify the soul, or transcend the physical world. Number three, union with the divine. The ultimate goal for many mystics is a sense of unity or oneness with the divine, the universe, or all of existence. This can be interpreted in many ways depending on the cultural or religious context, from becoming one with God in Christian mysticism to achieving nirvana in Buddhism. Number four, ecstatic states. Mystics often report experience of ecstasy where they feel an overwhelming joy or peace, sometimes accompanied by visions or auditory phenomena. These states are seen as glimpses into a deeper reality. Number five, philosophical and theological insights. Many mystics develop unique philosophical or theological insights based on their experiences. These can challenge or expand upon existing religious or philosophical doctrines. Six, universal themes. While mysticism can be found in virtually every religious tradition, like Christian, Islamic, Hindu, Buddhist, etc., and even amongst those who might not adhere to any organized religion, there are common themes like the transcendence of ego, the illusion of separateness, and the interconnectedness of all things. Number seven, historical figures. Throughout history, figures like Saint Teresa of Avila, Rumi, Meister Eckhart, or even modern thinkers like Aldous Huxley and his concept of the perennial philosophy have been labeled mystics due to their teachings and experiences. Number eight, skepticism and controversy. Mysticism often sits at the edge of conventional religious practice, sometimes leading to skepticism or even persecution from more orthodox members of religious communities. Mystics might be seen as heretics or visionaries, depending upon their perspective. In essence, a mystic is someone who delves deep into the mysteries of existence, often beyond the exoteric or outward practices of religion, seeking esoteric, which are inner truths of experience. This journey is personal, profound, and often transformative, leading to insights that might challenge or enrich the understanding of reality for both the mystic and those influenced by their teachings. So based on this information that's available as of today, there isn't a lot of evidence for, from the data that's available in social media about the general knowledge about mystics today. But in the traditional sense, individuals who have spiritual or esoteric knowledge and are teachers, they just don't have that many followings. I mean, specifically for, posting articles or videos, they're few and far between. But if we do interpret mystics more broadly to include creators who might discuss mystical, spiritual, or deeply philosophical topics, then we can infer some general trends, like those on YouTube and some other platforms. There's many content creators who delve into spiritual, mystical, or philosophical content, and they've migrated or expanded their presence into other platforms like X or Twitter. For instance, individuals like Sadhguru, who are really recognized on some platforms like Instagram or YouTube, and might have a significant following due to their insights on mysticism and spirituality. So there are some trends that, while there are few that label themselves as mystics that have 1 million followers, for example, there is some data that show that there are some content creators that are growing across various niches, and they've amassed some pretty large followings. And these could include individuals who discuss topics that might be considered mystical or esoteric, like astrology, tarot, readings, and just offer spiritual guidance. And of course, there's a lot of people working across all these platforms, like influencers and thought leaders who initially gained fame on certain platforms like a YouTube or Instagram or X for content related to mysticism or spirituality, and they might be active today across all these different platforms. And their follower count often reflects a pretty high presence of their influence in the digital media. So, while not directly labeling themselves as mystics, there are mentions of creators that do reach significant milestones in their views or subscribers on platforms like YouTube, which could imply a similar following on like X and Instagram. But those creators, like those that I've studied that are mentioned in posts, might not be traditional mystics, but they could discuss themes and touch on mysticism and personal growth. So the direct answer is there is no specific mention or direct evidence from the data that's out there in social media that there are mystics that have like 1 million followers on X, for example. However, considering the broader context, it's plausible that individuals or creators who delve into mystical or spiritual content might or could achieve such a following on like X, especially if they're already popular on other platforms. So real-time engagement with the trend towards sharing diverse content, that would suggest there are figures that are posed to really communicate this mystical knowledge, or maybe some skepticism about traditional life, and possibly through threads or social media clips, and engage people and expand this mystic insight niche. So therefore, we can't confirm these specific mystics by name or direct evidence. But you have to admit, it's fascinating to consider how many times throughout history we've come across periods where the common thought is that something is never possible, which a few generations later suddenly is completely possible, and the tide is totally flipped from that possibility being considered crazy to one that is considered absolutely acceptable. So my fascination with the term mystic and the mysteries in life continues. I don't know if it's so smart for anyone to label themselves as a mystic, but I do find that our transparency today is bringing more and more confidence for people to speak out and share what hasn't been spoken of broadly. And as we do that, we're gaining a greater peace and comfort with ourselves. I'm Roach Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.